spoke with these men and watched them speak, standing next to a warm corpse soaked in blood. That I had done such a thing terrified me in an altogether different way. Perhaps this is what it is like to go mad. Perhaps. I lowered the video settings because I thought maybe that was what was causing the slowness, but I don't know why it's so slow. Oh, it's doing the opening again? That's why. Okay, well we've seen that already. We don't need to watch it again. Nobody makes me bleed my own blood. Achievement unlocked. Alright. Chapter 1. I was so close to finishing the prologue. 1864, January. I thought I might have been close, but you know, you just never know with these things. It was close enough. 3 sentences away. Hello? Everything's so blurry. Was it morning? What happened to me? I attempted to recollect myself. Ah, yes. Now that I can see... Right. All at once, the events of the previous night rushed back to me. This isn't my room. My limbs were snugly bound in tight knots, so all I could do was wriggle around in bed, twisting the blankets around me. I yearned for the comfort of my own futon, but the futility of such thoughts only forced me to confront the reality of my situation. If only I could wake from this strange nightmare. But I could not. Those men from the night before must have taken me with them. To the headquarters of the Shinsengumi. A military unit made up of Ronin, the purpose of which was to restore public order in Kyoto and counteract the local anti-shogunate forces. Oh. So they're like mercenary samurai that work for the army, I guess? What will happen to me now? I inhale deeply, lying down to await my fate. For a second I thought it was our dad, but no. It was at that moment that the door slid open and a kind-looking man stepped through.
Ah, I see you've finally awoken. This is no way to treat a guest of ours. Please wait. I'll loosen the ropes, alright?
Sure. His smile quirked as he removed my ropes. My wrists, however, were left bound. And you are? Very close.
Of course, how improper of me. My name is Genzaburo Inoue.
Captain of the Shinsengumi 6th Division. A native of Edo, he studied swordplay with Kondo, Hijikata, and Okita. He is sometimes referred to as Gen by his close friends. That'll be easier to say than his full name. Thank you, Inoue. Looks so unimpressed with me.
Now, if you would follow me. They've been discussing what to do with you since morning. For now, they've decided to hear about what exactly it was you saw last night.
Okay. I nodded curtly and struggled to stand, but my body was sore from being bound up all night, yeah. Inoue treated me with something like courtesy, but it was clear that I was in a lesser position. He must have been able to guess my thoughts, however, because he smiled at me and winked. Okay. As he rests his hand casually on his katana.
I know they seem scary, but they are all truly gentlemen. You don't need to worry.
Oh. Even at home I heard rumors of the vicious Shinsengumi that were unflattering. It was hard to imagine that the people in charge of such an organization were gentlemen.
The youngest man, Todo, is about your age, or perhaps slightly older. And there are a pair of guys named Nagakura and Harada who are very lively, so you'll be fine.
Great. Despite Inoue's reassurances, it was difficult for me to trust what I was hearing as accurate. Fading away. Alright. Moving on and up. This music again. Excuse me. Inoue led me to a room and opened the door. I stepped inside and found myself surrounded by the leaders of the Shinsengumi. Their eyes dug into me like sharp knives. I stared before me and then gulped nervously. Hey, it's our boy. Good morning. I take it you slept well. Well, it wasn't particularly comfortable. Is that so? Because when I went to have a look at you earlier, you didn't budge no matter what I poked. Oh no. Don't give me that look. You were knocked out cold and you looked snug and cozy in your sleep. What? Save me from this pervert, Saito. He's only teasing you. Souji didn't go anywhere near your room. Quite silent, I stared at Okita. Captain of the Shinsengumi's 1st Division. He is a native of Edo. His brilliant prowess as a swordsman developed by training with Kondo and Hijikata. With his grin still spread along his face, he glanced over to Saito. Captain of the 3rd Division of the Shinsengumi, he is a native of Edo. He wields his sword in his left hand and fights with incredible skill. Okay. Aw, I just wanted to see you squirm a little. Not very nice of you, Hajime, calling me out like that. I don't think Saito did anything wrong. You, on the other hand? I'm already 1000% done with you. We're not even in your route yet. Shut it. You sound like a bunch of kids. Hijikata's voice brooked no further insubordination. Okita? Alright, I said Okita or something? Okita shrugged and fell silent, but the smile lingered through his bright eyes. Toshizo Hijikata, the commander of the Shinsengumi. He is Kondo's longtime friend who helped form the Shinsengumi in Kyoto. Kondo calls him Toshi. Toshi! I like that. So, Hijikata, this is your witness. Oh. 3 new boys! Who will be next? The man who spoke was... well, he looked more like a boy than a man. Maybe this is the youthful Shinsengumi captain that Inoue was describing to me. I'd imagine the leaders of the Shinsengumi to be older, maybe even middle-aged men. But their faces were still blessed with youth. How lucky for me. Whoops. Hold on. I completely missed that one. Now, what is my button config for history again? W. Okay. Right. In fact, one might even confuse them at first glance for a gang of Bohemian thugs. Okay. He's a real stick, huh? Just a kid. Okay. How do I... get me out of here. I gotta figure out all these buttons. Hello?
You're calling him a kid, Haisuke? That's rich. Right you are. To anybody else, I'll bet you two look like a sad pair of scrawny little brats. I'm the only one who gets to call him out on being scrawny punks because I'm a mature adult and all.
It's hard to know who's saying what.
Mature adult? Anything that comes out of your mouth is basically nonsense, Shinpachi.
Two nearby men replied to Toto with very mocking but light-hearted tones. Ah, that kid. With the crazy eyes. Haisuke Toto, captain of the Shinsengumi's 8th Division. He is a native of Edo. He is the youngest captain and is known for being particularly energetic. I somewhat recalled Inoue's description of the two energetic members. His mention of them was brief, but seeing them in person was an eye-opening experience. He said the short-haired one was Nagakura, and the other, with longer hair, was Harada. Nagakura, the captain of the Shinsengumi's 2nd Division. He is a native of Edo and a skilled swordsman. He is upbeat and cheerful, and he frequently helps raise the morale of the men in his command. Now the only problem is, I don't know how to access the next... Yeah, like I can't, I don't know, if I try to click on it, it just disappears. So I can't actually read Harada's, or Harada's, or however you say it. I can't read his, it won't let me. This is very confusing. Oh well. Can I, if I go like this and then, no, it still doesn't work. Okay, whatever. Sorry, Harada. I feel like I'm being stared at. Leave off, you grumpy old bastards.
The hell I will, boy. You think you can get away with talking to us like that? Besides, I'm hardly mature enough to be called old. Shinpachi maybe, but not me. You son of a bitch. I thought we were friends.
Come on, Shin. Would an adult get so worked up over something like that? Their back-and-forth rapport seemed developed into a rhythm from years of friendship, which predated my arrival and made me foreign here. I sensed something apart from curiosity towards me, though. Like a feeling of animosity. Despite their cheerful levity, they had not forgiven my presence among them. Suddenly, I wanted very much to go home. I wanted to leave this place and never return. I don't care how youthful they all look. My chest tightened and I stared down, hoping to wake up in bed with all of this only a memory. Oh, hello. Someone with glasses?
I apologize for all of this frightening behavior. Please, don't let the men unsettle you.
Oh. His voice was calm and warm, and I felt myself relax, even for, if only a little bit. Thank you.
Are you serious? You're the scariest out of all of us, Sanan.
Kaisuke Sanan, a colonel in the Shinsengumi. He is a native of Edo. He acts primarily as a consultant to the chief of the Shinsengumi, Isumi Kondo. Alright. Colonel. As he finished speaking, the rest of the men nodded solemnly in agreement. I wondered, who could possibly command such fear and respect from these men? That smug look.
Oh, how crude. I can understand their feelings, but for our demon of a commander to feel such as well, it is up to me to hold the integrity of the Shinsengumi to our highest standard. It is easy to be confused, however, when our standards, or rather our taboos, are at the mercy of our own Hijikata.
It is true, but now isn't the time to be talking about this. And the man called Sanan and Hijikata stared at one another with a smirk.
You're lucky to have a friend like Sanan, Toshi.
Hijikata and Sanan sounded distant when they spoke to one another, not exactly friendly. Still, the man who spoke had certainly sounded as though he thought they were friends.
Oh,
my apologies. I haven't introduced myself. I am Izumi Kondu, chief of the Shinsengumi.
One of the founders of the Shinsengumi, an organization created to help keep the peace in Kyoto. He is originally from Edo. When you say chief, do you mean to say you are the most important man in the Shinsengumi?
Well, I wouldn't call myself the most important. It is more accurate to say I represent everyone. Toshi over there is the commander, and Sanan is our colonel.
Kondu, why are you telling him all this?
Why? Do you think it's a bad idea?
Well, unless you think this kid should learn our secrets, maybe you should keep your mouth shut.
Wow, such disrespect. I love that they all have different katana handles. That's so cool. Exactly. Why bother anyway? We owe him nothing. Is my disguise still that good?
Perhaps. You all raise good points, but isn't it rude to ignore your guess?
Harada glanced over at Kondo and let out a bark of laughter.
Huh. True, we already brought him here. It's not like telling him will hurt us.
He looks so proud now. Kondo had looked rather disappointed when Hijikata spoke, but he perked up at Harada's words. Despite knowing him for 5 minutes, it's easy to see that his words resonated well with his men. He had a sort of charisma that simply drew you in. A man who was impossible to hate.
Well, let's get back to the business at hand. Can you give me a full report of last night?
Last night we were on patrol when we encountered some wandering Ronin. They drew steel, so we fought. Some of our men subdued the Ronin, but in doing so, exposed their failure.
As he finished, Saito turned to look at me. I didn't see anything. Even with my insistence, Hijikata continued to stare at me with a harsh glance. Saito remained expressionless, and the smile on Okita's face didn't change. Huh. You sure you didn't see anything? Yes, I didn't see anything. Really? Well, if that's true, then I don't see what the problem is.
Hold on a minute. I thought Souji said you helped out some of our men or something.
No, that's not true! I glanced over at Okita, but his smile remained. Whatever he was thinking was a mystery to me. I was running away from the Ronin. Then some people with Shinsengumi uniforms appeared. Really, they sort of rescued me.
Then that means you saw them slicing up those Ronin, right?
I couldn't exactly deny that. However, I knew that choosing to stay silent would implicate me deeper than lying would.
So in other words, you actually saw everything. The whole ugly business. You've got an honest heart. That's not really a bad thing, but...
I wasn't sure what to make of Harada's words. My presence seemed bad for the Shinsengumi. Bad news. Bad news, McGee. Would their next words be ones condemning me to death for being at the wrong place and time? My voice shook, but I knew I had to try. I won't tell anyone. I promise. Casually rests arm on sword.
It seems unlikely this attack was mere chance. Yet it seems unlikely, too, that you're an enemy. Despite your good intentions, you could be taken for interrogating. Could you handle torture?
Whimper. His voice was still warm, but his words were cold, and I began to feel my chances at life slip away. How unfortunate for me.
Staying quiet is easy, but if you were captured, you would have no loyalty to us or our secrets.
Yeah, we have no way of verifying your word. It wouldn't be very smart to just let you go. Let's just kill the kid. You want to keep someone quiet, that's the only sure way. But... Oi, come on now.
Don't be so cold, Souji. What did we gain by murdering a civilian?
Thinking about it? Oh, don't give me that look. I was just kidding.
Perhaps it should have sounded like it.
After being rebuked by Saito, Okita gave a playful smile.
But surely there must be something we can do. After all, we're talking about a child.
Are we?
I've no wish to kill him either, but ignoring the unlikelihood of his untrustworthiness is foolish. Well, I would like to hear the commander's opinion. What do you say, Commander Hijikata?
The men looked at Hijikata, listening intently. He sighed and glanced around the room.
Last night, we killed members who broke our code. This kid should not have been involved at all.
I imagine that puts an end to the matter for you.
Well, he probably saw something, but I doubt he really understands what it was. Even so, this is serious. We have bigger things to consider. We have to keep this under wraps. If rumors break that soldiers of the Shinsengumi are thirsty for blood, it would be problematic.
Shinpachi's words made sense to everyone. Hijikata's face looked grim.
Hey, watch your mouth. It is our responsibility to regulate all warriors who violate our code. They will be dealt with.
Well, it doesn't change the fact that this kid saw something.
I think Souji has a point, but still. I'll do whatever Hijikata and Kondo tell me to.
I think we ought to let him go. He doesn't know everything, you know. What do you mean, everything? The less we know, the better, girl. I couldn't help but wonder aloud, and the mood in the room shifted to an icy silence.
Shut it, Heisuke.
So shocked and appalled. Oops. My bad. Uh-oh. Well, this is going to make it even harder for us to simply let you go.
A man should always be ready to face death. You should make your peace with yours.
A man? Oh, that's right. They still believed me to be a boy, these dum-dums. With everything else that had happened, I'd completely forgotten how I was dressed.
Very true. A brave death is always an option. When I was young, I committed honorable suicide. It didn't really stick, though, did it, Sano?
Their jokes were barbaric, but they both broke into raucous laughter.
Commander, since we can't seem to reach a consensus, can I send the child back to his room? If you hear something you shouldn't while you're here, then we'll have no choice but to kill you.
Ah. He was right. If I remained with them, then I could easily hear something I wasn't supposed to. I didn't think he'd mentioned it for my sake, but rather as a possible concern for their group. I was still relieved when he'd brought it up.
Indeed. Let's do that. Plus, there's something I want to look into.
I agree. There are too many careless men here.
Come on, Sanan. What are you looking at me for? That ought to be pretty obvious. We're all guilty of being careless. Especially you, Heisuke.
Hey, back off! It was just a mistake, alright? I could hear Toto's voice rise as everyone turned to look at him. He looked at them for a bit, then turned to me and mumbled in a voice I could barely hear. I'm sorry. I was still apprehensive about what they might do to me, so I couldn't quite respond to him well. But he seemed to understand, and I curtly managed to nod. It was the most I could manage.
Alright, Saito, take care of the kid. Noted. Shall we go?
Alright. Warrior record has been unlocked, whatever that means. Is that something I can read at a later date? As I fade out of consciousness? Maybe, possibly. Look into that later. After returning to my room, I'd spent some time reflecting upon my state and my still bound hands. The rumor spoke of the Shinsengumi as vicious men, but they seemed more intimate, human to me. Still, their presence, or their being, lingered through me as if to say, we are not killers, but to protect our code we must bring death. Remaining here is only bringing me closer to the possibility of them killing me. I don't know if I can convince them to spare me. Just as I have no loyalty to them, they have no loyalty to me. Only the Shinsengumi. But then... they mention a man must always be ready to face death, so are they still mistaking me for a man? Could I possibly risk exposing my true identity in exchange for mercy on my life? But this could just as easily backfire for me, and it could exact an even worse fate. I was truly at a loss for what to do. So, she saved. She made a save file. And hope for the best. There are some in this group that would listen to me. But we're going for Okita. Okita's kind of a loose cannon. Maybe he'll be impressed if I try to find a way to escape. It's early in the game. Yeah, let's go for it. There is nothing for it. I had to try and escape. Meaning I needed to get moving immediately. Staying in this room did nothing to help me. Fortunately, they hadn't bothered to tie me up completely again. Only my hands were bound. That would slow me down, certainly, but so long as I could move my legs, I stood a chance. Alright, now the exit is... I cast my memory back to when they brought me into the building the night before. Right. I'm sure it would work out. This is suicide. I stood up. Holding my breath, I edged toward the door. I knew it was rude, but I had no choice but to try and open the sliding door with my toe. So rude. How dare you? But... I was almost there when suddenly it flew open all on its own, revealing... Oh, the commander. Hello. Looking very worried.
What?
Ah! Whoa! Whoa! I stumbled straight into Kondo. Sorry, Kondo. Hi, Sanan.
Oh my. Well, that was rather bold. You were looking to escape, I assume.
Heh.
Attempting to escape was unwise. It will only make your situation more difficult.
Yeah. His voice was calm and not unfriendly, but his eyes were frigid and calculating. Too late I realized why they hadn't bothered to tie me up again. They'd been watching me. Hey, it's Okita. I told you once and I won't do it again. Run and I'll gut you. Sorry, but now we've got to kill you. We can't trust a kid who can't keep a promise. Okita smiled. He didn't look very sorry. That was for your benefit, I'll have you know. In a roundabout way. Yeah, I think in this case, I'll just stay here. You won't give me a chance to explain myself? I was innocent, but complaining wasn't going to help me. Perhaps it would be best if I simply accepted my death. Then you may do whatever you like with me. Oh, I don't know if I want that. Okita roared with laughter, his shoulders shaking. The anger in my voice proved unaffecting to them. Oh, what does that mean? Does that mean like I got a thing with him? What does butterfly on moon mean? Oh, you're a funny one. Alright, maybe we were a little rough on ya. So just relax, okay? We aren't going to eat you or anything. What do you want? You were just talking about killing me. Never seen such an innocent girl like you. Huh? A girl? He noticed me! You knew I was a girl? Duh. Nobody else did.
What? Souji, are you telling me this child is a girl?
Calm down, Kondu. Really? Huh. I was sure all of you caught on. Maybe not Kondu, but... This is just like Ouran House Club. Well, I never.
Don't tell me you knew all along, Sanan.
Well, yes. She's doing her best to dress up like a boy, but it's so obvious that she's a girl.
Poor Commander. Alright. Now, tell your big brother, why were you cross-dressing around Kyoto? Okita? Big brother? Sanan shrugged and let out a loud sigh.
Maybe we should all sit down and talk this over. Some of us may have changed their opinions.
Okay. I'm down for that.